welcome back to my channel. I said I'd do a video about explaining what meltdowns and shutdowns are. If you don't know what a meltdown or shutdown is, they are basically something that me and every other autistic deals with when they find things too intense or too much. So I'll come onto this in the video and hopefully it helps. If you have autism yourself, or if you know anyone that has autism, let me know if this video has helped them, and I just hope you enjoy it and hope it really helps someone to feel less alone. So let's get into it. I'm going to start off by explaining what a meltdown is first, because it's kind of easier to explain than what a shutdown, because with a shutdown there's more to it, but they're both kind of linked and always go back and forth. So I'll start off with explaining that a meltdown is basically when an autistic is in a situation where they feel a certain way. So this situation that they're in, or the circumstance that they're under, whatever they are dealing with, what they are dealing with will make them feel a certain way. So for example, some feelings they may feel are feeling anxious, feeling upset, feeling scared, feeling angry, feeling confused. They may feel one of these feelings in a situation, or in other situations they may feel all of these feelings in one go, which will be harder to deal with if it's a load of different feelings or emotions at once. So when they feel all these feelings or emotions, they won't be able to express these emotions, and that's what causes the meltdowns, because they can't express it. And with saying how meltdowns and shutdowns are kind of linked, which I'll come on to a bit later, and having meltdowns and not being able to express how they feel in a situation, it will cause them to have a shutdown. So before I come on to what a shutdown is, I will explain one experience that I've had myself of a meltdown, and that is mostly in an airport or at a concert. It happens the same thing happens at either place, but when I have a meltdown, it's just basically in any public place with like so many people. So when you go to an airport, there's so many people coming home from their holiday, so many people going on holiday, and an airport is always so busy. And so is a concert is like so many people there for their favorite artists. So like, for example, in Wembley Stadium it's like 80,000 I think, or something. Correct me if I'm wrong, someone. But a lot of people in both an airport and a concert. But in these two scenarios with a concert or being at an airport, I get so overwhelmed, I get so stressed, I can barely focus on what I am meant to do myself, and I can barely focus on enjoying myself when I'm in the moment, because I feel so overwhelmed, so anxious. And the first thing that's going through my head is, wow, there's so many people, or wow, all these people are judging me, but they're not. But I get so overwhelmed, and because I don't know how to express my feelings in those situations, I start going like this with my hands. And sometimes when I go like that, I even struggle with my breathing sometimes, which isn't good. But I always struggle and go like that because I don't know how to express myself. And bearing in mind, with a meltdown and shutdown, they will look different for every autistic. So not every autistic will struggle the same. So just because I go like this, it doesn't mean another autistic will do the exact same. Every autistic person and everyone, whenever they get stressed, will have different ways of dealing with their stress. So that's explaining a bit about a meltdown and one experience I've had with that. So coming on to a shutdown, I've said that shutdowns and meltdowns are kind of linked and go back and forth. So when an autistic has a meltdown, and can't express how they feel in any situation that they're in, it will get too much for them, so it will cause them to have a shutdown. And a shutdown happens from things being too much for them, and a lot of things being too much for them could be friendships, could be anything to do with family, it could be college or schoolwork, exams, whatever it is. Things will just get too much for the autistic, and they won't be able to function properly. And when they go into shutdown mode, it will be their body telling them that they need to take a break, that they need to rest. So if you ever experience a shutdown, please remember to take a break and to take rest, and to never push yourself too much, because if you push yourself too much, you're just going to make yourself feel worse. So with one experience I've had myself with a shutdown, it's mainly when I get really overwhelmed in lesson, because it really affects my learning a lot more than it used to, which I really hate, but it is what it is. But when I'm in my lesson, in college, I can barely focus on the work or what's going on around me. It's because all the work gets too much for me. I find it very, very, very intense, as well as finding other situations intense. But when I feel really overwhelmed and stressed in the lesson, I just start crying, and I have no way of, again, expressing how I feel, which is basically a shutdown and meltdown coming together, because I can't express that's how I feel. So when I just have to walk out, and I've gotten into the habit of doing my work in learning support a lot more. So my attendance hasn't been the greatest this year, so I'm going to try to push myself to go to more lessons in the new year. Wish me luck. But it just gets too much for me sometimes, and when an autistic person has any situation that's too much for them, they will need to express themselves. They will find it hard to express themselves a lot, but sometimes they will just cry, or they will go into shutdown, and shutdown looks different for everybody. Like for me, I start crying when I'm in shutdown. But sometimes I go quiet. Other autistic people who experience shutdown will isolate themselves. So like I said, it's different for everyone. And yeah, it's just very hard for anyone to deal with a shutdown or a meltdown, because you never know what anyone's going to say. Like when I have one in college, I never know what anyone is going to say to me about it. I feel embarrassed, but I've started to find coping mechanisms to help me. So I just thought I'd show you my coping mechanisms, in which I call my stress box. So I'm going to show you two things, because I have too many things. I'd probably bore you all to sleep with this. But the first one is this. So it's basically like a stress ball that I can squeeze if I get stressed. And the second thing I'll show you, if I can find it, yes, I found it, is a fiddle bracelet. So I can put it on my wrist like that and fiddle with it in lesson if I wear it in college. So if I'm ever in a stressful situation, I can squeeze this, or I can just anything. So definitely get yourself any of these stress toys. They sell them in like Wilko, Clinton's, and loads of other shops like that. So definitely get yourself some if you get anxious, or if you want coping mechanisms for when you feel stressed or anxious. So hopefully they will help. And lastly, I just wanted to say that if you ever help a friend or a family member when they have a shutdown or a meltdown, to just be there for them and give them water if they don't have any. It's really hard to be in a situation where you have to help someone in a meltdown or a shutdown, but when your friend or family has a shutdown or a meltdown, they're really uncontrollable, so you can't prevent it or stop it from happening. And if you say to them, oh, what can I do to help you, when they're in the middle of a shutdown or a meltdown, they won't be able to say to you, oh yeah, can you do this for me, because they'll be like in the middle of it. So just get them water and just stay with them, reassure them that they'll be okay, because that's the best you can do. So this has been my video explaining a bit about meltdowns and shutdowns, and explaining a bit about my own experiences. So I hope it helps. I hope I've explained well. If you have any questions, please put them in the comment box below, obviously, and or message me on my awareness accounts, and I'll respond as soon as I can. And yeah, just if you have any questions about this video or anything I've said in this video, please do comment and let me know. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.